Welcome to Happy Bucket. Let's have some good news. What's up guys, I'm your host for this new channel and I guarantee you only good news. If you're like me, you're fed up with the grim headlines you see everywhere in the media. It's always doom and gloom about faraway tragedies and local incidents we can do nothing about. The focus we put on them and the way these news are treated keep pushing a feeling of impending doom. That constant tide of bad news puts us in a depressed and aggressive state of mind. However, at Happy Bucket, we are committed to help you see that the glass is half full and hear about what's going on every day to push mankind forward. There are lots of powerful, great things happening in the world and we just need to pay attention to them. Millions of people, scientists, engineers, doctors, philanthropists work every day to make the world better bit by bit and they achieve huge successes that you hardly ever hear about. Panic sells better than hope, doesn't it? And because the world isn't only about serious things, we'll also talk about entertainment, tech, because we are geeks too, and other subjects. Happy Bucket is your channel, and together we'll add, remove or change sections. Tell us what you want in the comments. If you like this project and want to help us, share a link to this channel or video to your family, friends, colleagues over social media. If you like this video, click on the thumbs up and talk about it to those around you. Help us spread the good vibes. The world clearly needs it. And to never miss one of our videos, subscribe and click on the bell. We'll start by giving you back some faith in mankind, thanks to our very first story. The story of Austin Perine, aka President Austin, a 4-year-old boy from Birmingham, Alabama, who has become the hero of the hungry and the homeless. Everything started in February when Austin and his dad, TJ, were watching a program on Animal Planet about a mother panda leaving her cubs. TJ told his son the cubs would be homeless for a while, but Austin didn't know what homelessness meant. He was sad and wanted to know more. TJ saw an opportunity to teach something to his son and decided to take him to the Firehouse Ministries, a local shelter providing housing, food, and other services for homeless men. Even before they reached the building, they saw a group of 25 homeless men on the street corner. Austin noticed they looked sad. He then asked if they could take them some food and make them smile. That day, Austin used his allowance to buy each man a Burger King sandwich and handed the food out himself. When they saw the impact their presence had on the men's morale at the ministry, Austin and TJ returned the next week. Austin used his own money again to buy sandwiches, which he handed out along with his new catchphrase, "Don't forget to show love." He continued his actions for many weeks, and they spread through social media and US national news. Burger King jumped aboard, agreeing to donate $1,000 a month for an entire year towards the cause. Then churches and shelters joined in. They used to be able to feed 25 to 50 people at a time, and now it's 800 to 2,000. But their help didn't just stop with food, and with the help of his mother, Audrey, Austin and TJ helped a man, Raymond, start a new life by helping him find a new job and a new home, just because a 4-year-old boy took the time to care. The family established the Show Love Foundation to fight homelessness, and TJ quit his job to work full-time as the foundation's public relations manager. Austin continues giving out food, smiles, and his inspirational message, "It makes me feel like I'm saving the day." Our second story today is about health, one of the main focuses of research for mankind, and we'll talk about a condition impacting more than 422 million people worldwide. People living with diabetes usually have to prick their fingers many times a day to check their glucose levels. Some were already using the Freestyle Libre system about launch in 2014, and that enables a continuous monitoring of glucose levels without the need to prick the finger for 14 days. Those in Europe will now have the choice to use the Freestyle Libre 2 system and be alerted in real time of hypoglycemia, low glucose levels, or hyperglycemia, high glucose levels. Abbott announced that it has a secured CE mark conformité européenne for its Freestyle Libre 2 system, the next generation of Freestyle Libre, letting patients know in real time that they're failing outside of their normal range. How does it work? The system relies on an upper arm sensor that regularly measures glucose within the interstitial fluid, using a tiny built-in needle. The sensor shares its readings with a paired device through Bluetooth technology that looks like a smartphone, which the patient uses to keep history of readings, set alarms, and manage all kinds of related data. Through this device, it's important the sensor will still work on its own and will send vibrate or make sounds command, depending on the user's preference. When it's reading sugar levels outside the norm, for those not willing to fill their pockets with one more device, the sensor can also be paired directly to a smartphone. For some patients who are unaware of the hypoglycemia episodes they may be experiencing, especially during sleep, having alarms can be important. Or, for the parents of children with diabetes, alarms can provide peace of mind. You have probably noticed humans are not the only living beings on our planet. And many of us, though never enough, also care about animals. Thankfully, they have their share of good news too. According to Reuters, Central African mountain gorillas came off the critically endangered species list very recently, following a rare and dramatic recovery in numbers over the past 10 years. A recent survey showed they went from 680 individuals in 2008 to 1,000 individuals, enabling scientists to reclassify them as only endangered. Although this is fantastic news, this species is still endangered and we must keep up with our efforts. The silverback gorillas, for example, which we can find at the borders of Rwanda, Congo and Uganda, have their habitats surrounded by farmland where the human population is growing continuously. Also, the rising number of gorillas means a number to expand their habitat and to raise more money for the communities in the area. Finally, for this kind of good news to keep coming regarding endangered species, we must do a lot more, but at least we know our efforts are working. I told you we were geeks at Happy Buckets, so we couldn't start this first episode without some tech news. According to AD-Age, YouTube recently began to release movies you can watch for free, supported by ads. So if you're a movie lover and on a tight budget, it's definitely a good news for you. YouTube began releasing movies in October and the selection is still scarce, with around 100 only. The catalog is expected to grow in the coming months, depending on the deals with the studios. Those ads come through commercial interruptions and pop-ups that appear regularly over the image. This is neither the only nor the first service to offer free ad-sponsored movies, as Roku, Vudu and Tubi are already known for comparable offers. But YouTube is bringing it to a bigger crowd with a bigger visibility, and distributing ad-support free films could be a huge new audience for the site's extensive ad network. Although this feature is available only in the US right now, we can only hope for it to get released in other countries soon. We want you to know that at Happy Bucket we won't focus on news exclusive to any country or region. Basic research and applied research probably make up the most complex knowledge you can acquire, and they are the real deal when it comes to making the future. Hold on to your hats, because nuclear fusion is coming next. Nuclear fusion is one of the keys to supplying clean and unlimited energy for our growing needs. Unlike nuclear fission, which we use nowadays, it doesn't produce much nuclear waste, only a few short-lived radioactive byproducts, which last less than 100 years, but mainly just helium, which is inert. Without getting too technical, the main challenge here is to get a plasma hot enough and at a self-sustaining heat, so it generates more power than it took to bring it to the optimum temperature. We're talking here many times that of the sun. The good news is China, after setting a world record of sustaining a plasma of 101.2 seconds last year, has now turned its attention to raising the temperature inside the machine and succeeded in reaching 100 million degrees Celsius, about 100 million 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which is required for fusion on Earth. China isn't working alone because it's part of an international collaboration known as ITER, International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor, along with 34 other countries, to develop an operational fusion reactor. That technology will bring clean and abundant energy to mankind. these experiments go some way towards making that dream a reality. That's it for today, but don't leave just yet. Thanks for watching until the end. Please tell us in the comments what you thought of that first episode. Tell us what you liked and what we should do to improve and how. We welcome your suggestions. What other sections you'd like to see besides just news? As a new channel, we really need your help to improve and get known. If you liked this video, click on the thumbs up and talk about it to those around you. Help us spread the good vibes. We recommend you follow us on our Twitter, Facebook and Instagram accounts. See the links in the description. Thanks again for watching. Spread happiness. We love you and long live Happy Bucket.